Hello. Let's see the job of Chief of Technology (CTO), Quest Global Service Private Limited. About the company, the Quest Global Service Private Limited. We are Quest QUEST.
Quest.
I remember a company named Quest. They may developed by the different company. The Quest should be Oracle related service. Quest. Yes, there is a Quest Oracle community. There is no profit organization, but this is not the organization, but the company, private company. We are Quest Global. We are the business of engineering, but what we are really building is a brighter future. It's not just what we do, but why we do it that makes us different. We believe engine has the unique opportunity to solve the problems of today that stand in the way of tomorrow. For 24 years, we have started to be the most trusted partner for the world's hardest engineering problems. As a global organization headquarters in Singapore, we live and worked in 70 countries with 56 global delivery centers, driving by 13,000 plus extraordinary employees who make the impossible possible every day. Quest Global bring deep industry knowledge and digital expertise to deliver E2E global product engineering service. We bring together technologies and industries alongside the contribution of diverse individuals and the areas of expertise to solve the problems better, faster. The multi-dimension this multi-dimension approach enables us to solve the most important and large-scale challenges across the airspace and defense, automotive, energy, high-tech, healthcare, medical device, rail, and semiconductor industry. Integrated matter, protecting against the job search scam,
Scams.
Scams. Quest Global conduct a formal interview process. However, we do not ask payment at any stage of the recruitment process. Find out more about at our website. This is the Quest. We do not ask any payment at any stage of the recruitment process. Okay, let's see the job description. There are always 50 applicants posted on this month, 13 will closing 1 month later. Okay, I think maybe in Singapore, most IT people, they are looking for the management operation, not the detailed technology operation. I think everyone want to enjoy life, enjoy to manage others, but not want to do the detailed working. They do not have the ability to hands-on. For example, recently I interviewed for some company. They always ask me, what about the hands-on technology? But for the detail, they do not understand. Okay, let's see the job description, role and the responsibility. I think maybe this is their advantage. They can communicate and they have very skilled and familiar with English, and so they have the ability to more efficient communication with their boss, and they can pursue their boss. What about the job? What about the business and what they demand, and so they do not want to work for the hands-on daily working, so on. Okay, let's see the job description. CTO should process background of software product architect and have lead a group of software product architects. Yes, this is the leader role, responsible for define and implementing the architecture of responsible for define and implementing the architecture for software development for software product developed by the organization across functional, data, technology, and governance architecture. The role involves working closely with developers, shareholders, and other subject matter experts to ensure that software products meet the organization's business goal, quality standards, and regulatory compliance. Okay, next paragraph. Develop and maintain the product vision, roadmap, and strategy in close collaboration with the cross-function team. I think from the first three programs, the main job for this position is focused on the management, communication, collaboration, and oriented from the product vision. Okay, let's go on. Work with cross-functional team to define product requirement and prioritize the features.
Prioritize
features. Work with cross-functional teams to define product requirements and prioritize features. Yes, I think maybe this should be done by CTO, but I don't think so. Most of the product oriented from the business department. Even this is a high-tech company. I think just like the GPU developed by Huang Renxun, by the NVIDIA, and the AI developed by the ChatGPT, the company. But I think the most oriented but always come from the business requirement, not by the technology. If you focus on the very detailed technology, you will fail. Okay, let's go on. Design and develop software product architecture across functional, data, technology, and governance architecture. Ensure that they align with the organization's business goal, technology vision, industry standard, and market competition. Yes, this is the right description for this job. They must have the business vision. They must how to say coach with 迎合
catering to
they must this job must catering to the business requirement, must align with, yes, they must align with ALIGN.
Align with.
Yes, they must align with the organization's business goal, technology, technical vision, industry standards, and market competition. The first and very important is focused on the business goal. They must align with the business goal, because all of this development must be very huge investment. So they must align with the organization's business goal. If you have no money, you cannot do anything. And secondly, they must focus on the technical vision. If you do not understand the technology, so you cannot understand what is the best way, what is the best solution. How about the cost, about the technology implementation, development, and all of these things. And secondly, you must align with the industry standard. If you do not understand the industry standard, for example, the web standard, for example, the HTTP standard, the audio and the video standard, for example, the code and the encode for video, the compression for the audio, 好多 thing， 压缩 and 降噪。Compression, noise reduction for the audio. This is some industry standard for this field, and you must be very familiar about it. That means you do not you cannot do something replication copy 重复照人之后头 C you must not repeat the view building. If someone have invested and create something, you no need to create it again. Okay, it is for the industry standards. But you must ignore some no use standard. For example, the GOTPF. Yesterday I bought the very heavy book. So maybe this 这么厚so thick book and very heavy. This is the TOGAF. I think most of its content is no use. And last, you must align with the competition. If you understand what your competitors are doing, you can understand what you are doing, and you can understand and you will very clear about what your company's goal and your aim. Yes, this is very important for this job. And next paragraph, create innovative software functions align with business requirement and ensure the end-to-end functional and process working. Yes, it is very important. Just duplicate description for the last program for the technical. Okay, let's go on. Collaborated with product manager, business analyst, developers, software engineers, and other shareholders to ensure the software products meet functional and non-functional requirements. Yes, very correct. You must collaborate. Yes, you must collaborate everyone. Most important is the product manager. For example, for the bank and the payment gateway industries, if you do not understand what is the SWIFT criteria, what is the backend for the how to say 大额支付。For example, for the large payment, small payment, you cannot understand what about the business requirement, because there is different department, different working for the large payment and small payment. It is very different for the bank business, for the bank industry. So you must align with the requirement from the product manager. He or she is the first man. You must collaborate with them, very good relationship. And second, you must focus on the business analyst. They will provide you some useful database, useful data, useful report, and all of this. For example, you can find out the weakness, the advantage of your competitors, and other companies what they are doing. It is the important. You must focus on the team member. They have different ability. They have different focused business, and you must have the ability to collaborate with them and let the team run very smoothly. Okay, let's see next program. Collaborate with product manager, business analysts, developers, software engineers, and other shareholders to define comprehensive data lifecycle and ensure the data integrity of the software product. Yes, to integrate the data into the product is very important. For example, for the shareholder for the security industry, if you do not understand what about the data format, for example, the transaction for the shareholder, the market, and the news, very huge text news, and the annual report of the listed company. If you do not understand what about this data, and what about the criteria, standard, and the system about all of this data, you cannot understand how to align with all of this data into your product. For example, if you develop an app for security, you must integrate all of these online transaction and the news and the history news, and the stock, and for example, how to say annual report. Yes, you must integrate all of this. You focus into the product, but they must divide it into different database and provided in one integrated app, and at some different hierarchy to provide it a different view to your customer. For example, the transaction is very important because they must provided by real time. For the annual report, they must provided by the 异步的 how to say, not sync, async, ASY and C. Asynchronous, yes, it must be provided by asynchronous and can be downloaded by customers themselves. Yes, they are not very urgent. Yes, very similar to the method of the 4 dimension. For example, important, urgent, and not important, not urgent, important, not urgent, and urgent, not important. The 4 dimension, you can divide all of these matters into your business, and so on. You can divide all of this product development into your daily routine, and you can use it into your app, your product. Okay, let's see another program. Lead and supervise a cross-functional team of developer, designer, and quality assurance of professionals throughout the product development life cycle. Yes, you must focus everyone's job, and you must have some tools. For example, the Azure, and for example, the GitHub, to monitor the daily routine, the on progress, and the sprint for their jobs, and you can monitor everyone's process, and you can catch on everyone and assign the detailed job for everyone. It is important, and you must assign some job in advance for all the project. For example, you can assign for the UI to have some draft for the product design. You just have some scratch for the rate of the UI design, but no need at the real time to provide the final UI designer. And at that time, because it is important for product designer, they may use this, and for the product designer, they must product for the framework for all of this system. For example, the backend, the front end, and the middleware. You must take the balance of the system. Which one must assign for the front end development? Which one is assigned for the backend development? And if there is a complex software, you must assign the middleware development, or maybe purchase third-party middleware softwares and provide it into the product API integration, all this. And as the final, you must have the quality assure. Yes, it is very important, because you must have the job ongoing with your product developing, and everyone must write down the documentation along with their developing. For example, some product documentation must be submitted. For example, the product designer, the framework designer, the detailed designer, and the database designer, and the API designer, and also yes, there must be very important is the main database. How to say master data? Yes, it is very important. The core of the system is master data, and it is a very really relative. It is very relative to the performance of the system. Okay. Let's see the next program. Provide a technical guideline to development teams to ensure that the developer software products that are consistent with the technical architecture and quality standards. Okay, it's very important. Next line. Conduct research and development activity to identify new technologies, software products, and tools that can be used to enhance the technical architecture and the product functionality. You must have the knowledge about every system performance. For example, the developing tools. For example, the Xcode on macOS, and at the same time, I have used. Sorry, I forgot what about the tools I used to develop the Delphi. And now Microsoft provide the tools like I forgot. Let me check my web. What about the tools I have used for Xcode? Yes, Xcode, and how to say? I have forgot the name. There is so many development tools, but I have got all Eclipse. Yes, Eclipse used for development for the Delphi and the Java. Yes, this is I have used. And recently we used the Visual Microsoft developed it, and it is open source. How to let me check on Google. Microsoft Visual Studio. Yes, Visual Studio. Visual Studio. Visual Studio, and there is some version free, not on Microsoft platform, but just on the website you can download it. Yes, VS Code. Yes, VS Code I have gotten just half past a year. I have not used Visual Studio. There is so long time. and you have the knowledge about the performance tuning. For example, the Oracle, you must have understand what about the RAC, the Harman, and all of these tools. Yeah, so you can assign the job to the detailed map. Okay, next slide. Create and maintain the documentation of the technical architecture, including diagram, design specification, and technical requirements. Yes, recently we have some platform provided online to develop the diagram, design specification, and technical requirements. But you must know every any tools cannot replicate, cannot replace working by human, because you must write down the architecture by human. For example, you must understand what you are doing. You must at the scratch to do everything. For example, you must know the business requirement. So you must write down the diagram. For example, draw something by the omnigraph, or maybe by visual, maybe by project, and you have the roughly framework designer. Yes, I'm very familiar with omnigraph. Omnigraph is a very good tool. So I have purchased it. Maybe the price is 1,014. Sorry, 1,408 RMB. And I purchased it in China, not in Singapore. It's some years ago. Yes, it is a very good design tools, and I use Microsoft Word and macOS Pages to write down my designer documentation architecture for the product, maybe 30,000 words. It is very important for the product designer. I think this must be done by the CTO, not by the others, because if you do not understand the business, the system designer, you can do nothing. You cannot handle the system. The CTO is not the person just see and let something and let others to do. You must do something. At least you must write down the documentation for the roughly designer. Yes, excellent. Conduct the code review and provide guidance and provide guidance to developer to ensure that software products adhere to quality standard and best practice. Yes, you must have some product test along with your working. For example, the draft test and the product beta and the alpha, and for the test you must have some professional tools to test the performance for your system. For example, the black box test, the white box test, all of this, and the pressure test for the TDP. Yes, it is very important because you cannot imagination what about the user, what about the pressure, what is the problem of your system, and what is the shortest weakness of your system. You must carry on some tests to find the very weakness about the system. Okay, next line. Establish and enforce software development process standards and tools to maintain constant quality and ensure that software products meet regulation, regulatory and compliance requirements. What I think this is something not very important, just how to say 马后炮. Post marriage, yes. If someone is married, you see something not applicable, it is post marriage.
Post-marriage.
Yes. If someone have some complaints about the system, you must press in advance, not say something after the product go live. Okay. Let's see the job requirements. Being in management role and has experience in leading a team of software product architectures, bachelor's or master's degree in computer science, software engineering or related field. Yes, you must have the degree. For me, I have 3 degrees. None of them is scientist or software engineering, all studied by myself. And next slide, worked as a full-time developer for minimum 5 to 10 years. Yes, my most of my colleagues they have acted as full-time developers for minimum 5 years. Some of them have 10 years experience. 5 more years of experience as the software product architecture or solution architecture. Yes, it is important, but I think there is no many architecture they can do always in the field. You see, if you have designed the product, you must devote yourself into this product for a very long time. If you have worked for this field for 5 or 10 years, maybe just 1 or 2 products you can develop very successful. Others maybe a very small product. Yes, I think so. And next slide, familiar with the software development methodology such as Agile and Waterfall. Yes, Agile is a very good wonderful tools to the software development. But there are always some very big problems for the Agile. Because you can split divided the job, the project into small tasks, for example the sprint. But at the moment you must notice that someone is very busy, others are not very busy, they are just idle, no working, they just waiting. It is Agile, they cannot hold on. They cannot solve this problem, but just by the project manager, by the project director. You must understand the job. You must understand what about the burden of everyone. For example, I have a very good example for the program. For example, I'm quoting by my iPhone. There is a feature about the how to say 震动马达。
Vibration motors.
Yes, there is a vibration motors inside the iPhone. But to develop for the vibration motor of the app, if you write your iPhone and you place your iPhone, it is a different feedback for your iPhone. If you write the iPhone and you focus it, the screen will look up very quickly. If you just no meaning, yes, how to say 无意识的 unconscious.
Unconscious.
Yes, if you just lift up your hands and by unconscious, the screen will not light and not look up. It is very important. I hear about the function developed for many years. It is very important. So you cannot integrate this job into the whole iPhone developing. Just you ask it must be closed down in 1 year, maybe 3 years. No, sorry, or 3 months or 6 months. You cannot understand what about the important. How about the hard, the difficulty about this job? You cannot measure how to say 合理的时间。You cannot give a reasonable time since. Yes, it is important. Next line. Proficiency in programming languages such as Node.js, JavaScript, Python, or Java. I think this is just a front-end technology. For example, for JavaScript, maybe some systems they can use the Node.js and Java for the backend, but most app I think Java is not a very good backend language. For example, the memory recycle, the variable variance definition is very weak, and there is so many rubbish always occupy your memory, not very good. And just for the Node.js, it is very popular, used for the backend for the front-end development, but not very preference for the backend development. Recently, we Swift, the Go language, to develop for the backend systems. Sometimes for the security product, we must use C and C++, because it is very security and high performance, and focus on the variable recycle and the very high performance with very few memory occupation. So all of the systems response time is very quickly. It is very important for security industry. Yes. I think maybe you can searching for the rank of the program language. There is some rank for the software. One is for ranking for program language, one is ranking for database, and you can find every detail about this information. Next line. Excellent technical and problem solving skills. Yes, very important. But you cannot do every day. If you do this technical and problem solving every day, you will find you are not very good project manager. Next line. The strong analytical and problem solving skill. Yeah, same to the last line. Next line. Excellent communication and interpersonal skills. Yes, you must understand and communication with your team member, and you must understand their ability and their advantage and their weakness, so you can give a reasonable working task for them. Okay, next one. Passion about the new technologies with the capability to apply them into software architecture and design. Yes, you must know about the latest technology. For example, the ChatGPT, the AI. For example, 7 years ago we used the AlphaGo similar technology, and the NLP, natural language process. All of this we can use it. Okay, next line. Tracking records of previous successful designed software products, solutions, or platforms. Platforms is very hard and different working, cannot be concurrent C in this similar job. I think tracking record, how to say, you must have the solution provided for the company. I don't so, because you will never know about what exactly they have done, and you must have the background investigation. You must but I think most of the product is not very successful in these times, because most products developed and very quickly disappeared in the platform For example, there is so many code they can study each other. Just very small tools can survive, and you can find it on the app store and the website on the platform. But for the very big products, just very few products survived. Yes. Sorry. I think maybe some tools always can survive. For example, I use the MWeb. It is a very small tools, but I use it for almost 10 years. Very good software. The developer just developed these tools for many years ago, and he himself just developed it just for this product, only the one. And I insisted you to use it. It is very good. And next line, I believe formula based and understand the various current leading technology and be able to apply new technology to software design and development. Yes, just like the ChatGPT and the AI and the other things. Yes, take care. Yes, this is the contact fee for this job. Okay, I'm 100% matched for this job. Okay, just a joke. Okay, let's stop coding.